Well, here we are, collectors. We've arrived at the show in the Cornfield at the Roberts Center out here in Wilmington, Ohio. And as you can see, we have a wonderful day. And today is the 14th of June, which just happens to be Donald Trump's birthday. So it should be a very, very good day. We're hoping that we'll find a lot of things here. We just started walking around the show and stumbled upon a kind of a nice sword here. This is an aluminum Luftwaffe sword, and it is in absolute full, complete mint condition. Look at the leather on that scabbard, collectors, and the leather on the grip. And the gilding on the sun wheels is absolutely 100%. And even the hanger is perfect. When do you ever see a perfect hanger? So you never know. And then it has a great, I think it's an SMF blade on it. We can turn it over here. And yeah, it's an SMF blade with a Waffen amp. So, you know, if the sword wasn't cheap, but then again, when do you find something that looks like it just came out of the box? So that's why it's worthwhile to come to some of these shows, because you just never know. We always have a great time, and to find things like this, it really makes it worthwhile. So keep at it. We're going to take you into the show, and we'll talk to some people and look at some things, and hopefully give you another enjoyable video. Well, collectors, we've run into a man that we know from the SOS show, Mr. Adamson here, and he wants to show me something, so we may as well look and see what he has. What do you got?
Hopefully a real HJ knife. I picked it up at a yard sale of all places for $50.
You hear that, collectors? A yard sale purchase for 50 bucks. Let's see what you got here.
I just have a buddy that would be interested in it.
It looks like the leather came off of the scabbard here where the rivets were. Yeah, it's got a nice blade on it. It's a Carl Eichhorn mark piece. You can see it's got the 3541 mark on it with an RZM, with an RZM 766. And then it's stamped 40. You know what the 40 means?
Made in 1940.
It was made in 1940, yep. It's absolutely a real piece. The only problem with it is, collectors, you can see that the enamel is gone in the insignia, but the colors are still there. So, and it is original. The scabbard's original also, but the as we saw, the rivets came out. But for 50 bucks, I think you got a real deal there. You ought to be real happy about that. Yes, sir. That's great. So see that? The stuff's still out there, and you can buy it cheap if you're in the right place at the right time, right?
Yep.
Yep. Congratulations. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Oh, we're talking to another good buddy of mine. This is John Rommel. He's a pretty advanced collector. How long have you been collecting, John?
About 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
But I've had some good mentors.
Well, you've done a good job yourself. He's a great researcher also. He was able to find a Luftwaffe dagger for me that just had a doctor name and 2 initials. And he identified it. It was just tremendous. You really know what you're doing.
Glad to help.
What do you got here?
I got an essay that's nondescript when you first look at it, but
Nice condition, though.
Yeah.
Nice condition.
But when you open it up is the kind of the key.
Let me see what so. You think it's going to be something special, collectors? Well, we'll see. Well, it's got a beautiful obverse on it. Let's see what the reverse looks like. Wow! Can you see that, collectors? This is a EP&S Rome dagger where the inscription was polished off, but that wasn't enough for this guy. He ground out about a ½ an inch down right into the signature. I've never seen that before. That is really neat, John.
Yeah,
Where did you find this?
I actually got that online from daughter of a collector. He was slowly selling off his collection.
Oh, I
and
see. You just hit it the right time.
I hit it at the right time, and I've been asking her what else he has.
That's got to be the coolest roam I ever saw.
Yeah.
Man, that is
And
really
he's
something.
got a number.
Oh yeah, there's a number on there also. Wow. Have you ever been able to research any of those numbers? And do we know whether they're Ausweis numbers or serial numbers?
I've been trying. I saw your video from 2015 about the brigade numbers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's probably the closest thing it could be.
Yeah. Probably a brigade number. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping sometime a listing will turn up on SA.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? Oh,
yeah.
boy. Well, thanks for showing us
You
that.
bet.
That's tremendous.
My pleasure.
We really appreciate it.
You bet.
All right, John. Great. Well, here we are at the Roberts Center show, and as is our usual custom, we'll just give you a look at some of the stuff that we're selling at our own tables, and we'll just go down the line here, and you'll see we got a something we just picked up, which I think is fantastic, a bronze of a sword being forged. German, beautiful, very heavy on a marble base. Really a nice thing. I'm debating whether to keep this myself or to sell it. I don't know. I like it. And we got some nice AH stuff. Something that you don't see very often. In this case, we have a pair of grape snips. And these are in the informal pattern, which we think would have been used for breakfast and luncheon, but very, very rare. It's the only set I've ever seen. And then next to it is also the rare Cigar Clipper. Of course, Hitler didn't smoke, but everybody around him did, so he had to have those things available. But their Cigar Clipper is a very desirable thing. If you just want to put some money away, where you'll always have something, buy one of those, and it's always going to be a good investment. And going along, we have the usual mix of nice Navy daggers, everything from an 1848 up to the 1938 vintages. Some DLV glider pilots, a Nuremberg party day knife, as well as an Olympic knife, both with the original bags. Very nice collectibles. And then we have a little assortment of medals. We have a silver German cross here that was awarded to a German general. His inscription is on the reverse of it. It's got a little nick in the enamel, but it's a nice, at least it was worn cross. And then we have a couple of Rome daggers and a couple of railways, RLBs. And then on top here, we had the opportunity to get a nice beer mug. We use this for last call. And a Luft goblet, and chain high leader, Tinos, postals, some more nice medals. And I bought an AH knife yesterday. It's got a nice patina on it. It's got a little bit of sharpening on the blade, so I bought it cheap, and I'll probably sell it cheap. So if somebody's looking for an original Hitler knife, this would be a good time to hit me up. Cheap, I'm telling you, it's going to be cheap. And then a couple of government official diplomats, Forestry Cutlasses. This particular cutlass is really, really pretty and very unusual. a design like that on the clamshell. It's the only one I've ever seen like that. It was made by Alcozo. And then they also did a lot of work on the lower mount too with oak leaf work. I think it's got a pretty nice blade too. Yeah, it does. Beautiful hunting scenes. You know, if you're just going to buy one forestry cutlass, boy, this is the one to get, because you're just not going to see anything like it again. It's really beautiful. And then we got some youth knives. For you guys that like the really clean ones, this has got the motto on it. All the cross graining is still there. I mean, just fantastic. Let's see who made it here. Oh, this one is a special one that was presented. The Hitler Youth went to Guatemala. They had a relationship in Guatemala, and they went there. I think it was 38 or 39. 39 they were there for a visit, and this youth knife was made to commemorate that visit. So it's a pretty historical thing. And if you don't believe me, look up Hitler Youth and you'll on the internet, and you'll see that they were in Guatemala then. And then some more nice stuff. There's looks like a Luftwaffe dagger, but it's not. It's a Luftwaffe, but it's not a plain Jane. It's got an ivory grip and a great double-edged blade. Just beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Both sides. And let's see what else we got here. Here's something that's kind of interesting. You don't see very many of these daggers. This is a Wooder Police, and it's basically a naval dagger, except that the grip is covered with blue leather, and then it has a police insignia on the obverse and a round bowl top instead of a Nazi pommel. And the Wooder Police, they wore these with naval hangers. And it's got a nice navy etch blade. You got to be a little careful on these because there's a lot of reproductions of them. And after you get used to looking at these daggers, you can pretty much tell just at a glance whether the leather is real or not, because the post-war leather just doesn't have the right look to it. And this is a dagger, as I say, it's quite rare, and something, if you have a good one, you'll never go wrong with it. It's something that's always very saleable and nice to have in your collection, because I can guarantee you the other guys won't have one, so you'll be the only guy. So, a nice thing here. And then we wind it up with some RADs and a couple of NPEAs. They're the student type. You know, they're difficult to find anymore, and prices just keep going up and up on them. This example is an Eichhorn. One of the things you want to look for if you're going to buy an NPEA student, you want to have a magnet with you. And make sure that the lower ball on the scabbard is magnetic, because normally the fakes, it's all done with brass, and you'll know right away that it's no good if the magnet doesn't stick to it. Very, very important. And I see this constantly. People send me NPEAs. Hey, Wittmann, is this any good? And I just get my magnet out. No, it's not. Sorry. So it's a simple thing, really. And also they were only made normally by two producers, Bergsmuller and Eichhorn. And once in a while you'll see a WMW, but it's a very rare thing to come across that. And the Bergsmuller has its own characteristics as well as Eichhorn, so you should get to know what kind of fittings both producers used and where they put their screws in the scabbards, and all those little nuances can really mean a lot when you're buying an expensive dagger. And you won't be shaken trying to get your money out because you're scared. Because if you know what you're doing It's fun.
I'll open it up here.
Well, here we are, and as our custom, whenever we can, we certainly have to talk to Walter Kanzler, who just happens to be here by coincidence. Hi, Walter. How you doing?
Hi, Tom. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah. What do you got neat that you can show us today?
Everything.
Everything. Yeah.
No, a lot of unusual items. This is something that the gun collectors would like to see. It's a Gewehr 98 World War I Mauser grenade launcher. You see the World War II ones very, very often. This is the World War I one.
I'm glad you know what that is. I would have no clue what that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It fired a grenade, a rifle grenade, with a hole in the center, and you use live ammo. It shot right through.
Wow.
And there was a little pimple on there of a fuse. When the bullet went through, it armed it.
Pretty clever.
Yeah. They copied the British, actually, or the French, I think.
And that's World War I.
That's straight World War I. Most likely, this is a World War II production one of it, because they still had Gewehr 98s in the beginning of the war. They went into Poland, they had the long ones.
I see, yeah.
Because they just redid the sights on that for the pointed bullets.
What about this fantastic Luger you got here, Walter?
I got
Collectors, wait till you see this Luger. This is really, really something. A real treasure.
I got this last week. One of the gun dealers that I know. I was at the Louisville show last week.
Yeah.
And one of the gun dealers that I know for many years
Boy, it's in mint condition too.
said, "Oh, I got a really rare Luger. Do you know anybody that would be interested?" And I said, "Yes, I have a customer in Germany. Since I do export, I send a lot of guns from Rock Island Arsenal auction
Yeah.
to him. This is a Chilean prototype Luger,
1900, isn't
a
it?
1900 model. You can see that by the
see
way
how
that
the toggle is beveled,
and
then it has the safety in the
grip
back of the
safety.
grip. That's
Yeah.
what you see on the 1900 models. And it's 7.65 millimeter,
caliber,
30
yes.
caliber,
And
not 9 millimeter.
They were testing them out. There were 50 of these made.
What's the serial number on that
This
one?
one is number 10026.
So it's basically 26.
Number 26.
Yeah.
And the other interesting thing is, since it was so early, they were still experimenting with different things. This is the same leather used on the Borchardt holsters. It's got the original cleaning tool
Yeah. Oh yeah, look
and
at
oiler
that.
combined.
Yeah.
And the really interesting thing is something you'll probably most collectors will never run into. It's got a push button stock instead of a lever. The regular
Would that
Luger
have been
has
an
a little
early
lever.
thing, or
It's
it
only on the early ones. Yeah, they tried it out and not too many people were happy with it.
Yeah.
But a push button stock, and this one is matching to the gun. It's number 26.
The stock matches the gun. Wow.
There, you can see the number.
Wow. What kind of money is something like this worth, Walter, would you say? I guess whatever you can.
Well, in the 40s.
Yeah, that much, yeah.
Close to 50, yeah. Close to 50,000.
See that, collectors? This is one of those Lugers that's once in a lifetime find.
Yeah, supposedly there's 3 known examples
That's it.
that I was told. There were 3 known ones.
Oh, you were really lucky to pick that up.
Oh my God, yeah.
Ran into the right guy, huh?
And I just took a bunch of pictures. Thank God for technology. I took a bunch of pictures with my iPhone,
Yeah.
sent them to my customer in Germany. He looked them over and said, well, there are fakes of this. And he says, but this is obviously the real thing. So I take it.
Good to know somebody.
Well, it pays to get around or to be around.
Yeah, to be around. Yeah. Show us this olive candle you got too.
That is something that I was very, very surprised. I brought this back last year.
You don't see many of them.
This type of candlestick I've never seen before. It's one of the more unusual. Usually you see the short ones.
Yeah, right.
And that, but this one has typical Alak markings.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really nice. Is it perfect condition too? No chips?
Oh,
or?
no, nothing. No, it's absolutely perfect. I always use my fingers, not my eyes, because a lot of times you can't.
Yeah, you
can't
feel it.
feel that little,
Yeah.
that little.
Yeah.
things.
See, that's a very rare piece. Most of you collectors know that they had the Alec factory in the Dachau camp, and they made these things primarily for SS officers, but they also sold some.
There was a store in Munich, and there was one in Berlin. And they actually sold all the stuff, but some things were only for presentation.
Right. And most of the things they made were fairly limited quantity too.
Yes.
Did not make a lot.
Yeah. Well, one other thing that's interesting. The collectors have always been told that
This is the Yule Lichter,
the Yule oyster,
marked on the bottom.
and everybody always says, "Oh yeah, they came from the Alak factory in Dachau." No, they didn't. They were actually made at Neuengamme concentration camp, and the main reason they made them there is it was a brick factory. That's why the
so they
brick
had
color, the clay.
The clay.
The clay. to
See,
make
that's a
these.
little known. Did the collectors hear that? Where were they made?
Neuengamme concentration.
Neuengamme.
Yeah. Here's one of the guards. I have the ID card from a guy who worked at Neuengamme. He was a concentration camp guard
Wow.
from Neuengamme. This is also something interesting. A female camp guard from Flossenburg. Everybody thinks, oh, the females were all at Ravensbrück. No, this was one from Flossenburg.
Some rare stuff there, Walter.
These are extremely.
Oh, there you go, collectors. As usual, Walter has some interesting things, and of course he's very knowledgeable on so many things, from guns to daggers, porcelain, paintings, documents. It's just endless. So we're always glad to see Walter.
And don't forget my Christmas ornaments. Because Christmas is coming.
Christmas. Okay. Hey, wait a minute. Look who's coming here.
it's Wittmann.
Holy mackerel.
How you doing,
Bill
sir?
Gibbons and Joe Polsinelli, my two
seeing ya.
favorite people. How are you?
Thank
Love
you, Tom.
Love
you guys too.
Love you. What do you got in your hand there? My God, look at these grips.
That's what we wanted to stop by and ask you some questions.
Look at these grips, collectors. Did you ever see grips that dark? Man, oh man. Where could they have been, Bill, to cause that?
In bright sunlight, maybe.
I don't know.
They're all
They're
three
the darkest I've ever
WKC.
seen. Yeah, they're all WKC. Look at that.
And Tom, turn this one over, and you get a surprise right here. It's all black.
Wow, it's
But you
black.
can see
totally black.
Little spots where it started
Yeah.
out like yellow. Maybe the unstable material.
Did you find these at a show, or are they in
No,
somebody's collection?
one was a veteran, and two came out of collections.
Boy, they're just wonderful. You know, they're so different that it's not even an army dagger anymore. You know, it's something really, really special. I've never seen grips that dark before.
Well, so many collectors will want to accumulate Army daggers and Luftwaffe daggers, second models, by grip color.
Yeah, and
I
you
thought,
can
my
see
gosh,
why. You can
that's
see
right.
why.
To
I
go
mean,
from
it's-
pure white or ivory to
Yeah.
black, licorice looking, and chocolate brown. And then this one is an eichhorn. And once again, you can see how
You can see how it toned
changed
over
the
the years. See where the knot was up here? It's a little lighter, and oh, that's personalized too.
got a nice little dedication on the back. And
Yeah, 3541 trademark.
put in.
See that, collectors, how the light affected this Trollon material, which is celluloid. And when it was exposed, it got darker. See, the porta-pee covered here and here, so it's still lighter here. The dagger once had a porta-pee on it. Interesting stuff.
Well, we wanted to share these with you.
Oh,
and the
they're great.
community.
They're really great.
I thought it was unique.
Did you look inside these scripts at all?
Yes.
Are they dark inside too, or they're light?
Black, brown,
yeah.
all clear through. This is
Wow.
like just a piece of milk chocolate all the way through,
Yeah.
and so is the black licorice color.
Oh, they are delicious looking
They are.
too. I'll
They
tell
are.
you.
They
Look like candy.
They look like candy, yeah.
Oh, but I wanted you to see them, Tom.
Well, now all the collectors can see them too. These will go all over the world, and
Fantastic.
people will realize what kind of taste Bill Given has.
Well, I get lucky. Like I said, I'd rather
Yeah.
be lucky than smart.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
And what do you got
Well,
here, Mr.
Tom,
Polsonelli?
You know how I like to walk around, and my favorite thing to do is, you got anything under the table?
Aha.
It worked again.
The kind of the old slogan, what do you got in your back pocket?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If
Let's
you'd
see
like-
what this is, Joe. We'll put it down
Take a
here
look.
and get these rubber bands off here. So far, you guys are thinking, oh, just another Army dagger. I know.
Yeah. And that's what makes this OVMS show so special down here in the country, in the cornfield.
Yeah.
You know what? It's a great place to buy.
It is
and
fabulous
it's
to buy.
laid back,
Yep.
and the good
Absolutely.
stuff comes.
Well, look, we're looking at this, and you can see that the dagger. First of all, it's in the original bag. It's a woolen green bag, and what's interesting is it has an extra pocket for the hanging straps, and you don't see that very often, Joe. I've only
I've
seen
never.
it a couple of times. It's and it's just one little moth hole in there. I mean, it's really in exceptional condition. And then the dagger itself is an incredible thing. You'll notice that the pommel looks a little large or something, or something's different about the pommel, isn't it, Joe?
Absolutely. Take a closer look.
What we think has gone on here, it's possible that this was a ring that was owned by the original dagger owner, and the ring has raised out Fatherland 1914.
1914.
Yeah. So chances are the owner was a World War I veteran, and he was proud of his service time like anybody would be, and he had this ring fitted to the pommel. It's just a tremendous thing. And we know who it is also because the man's name is on the back of it. What's his name, Joe?
I believe it's called Pullinger.
Hollinger, and he could be
Hollinger.
researched. I guess that's not a common
usually
name.
I'd like to see a first initial, but in this case, knowing he was a World War I veteran,
Yeah,
it
that
might be easier.
help,
and
yeah.
like Bill said, maybe a Knight's Cross winner.
Very possible. Very possible. And did these straps come with it, or did you?
The whole
find them?
ensemble, no, it came.
It all came
it
together.
Came that way.
Well, that's really nice
That's
to get it
amazing.
like that. Yeah, that is one. Again, collectors, not just an Army dagger. When you see stuff like this, it becomes something in its own right. And you really can't even put a value on it. You know, it's just a grand thing.
And the blade does not disappoint either.
Yeah, the blade is
Stunning.
honey. It's absolutely pristine, 100% mint, all the cross graining, needle-like tip that's going into my finger right now. So, you got a Band-Aid, Petey?
Well, I'll have Tom's DNA.
Yeah. And on the reverse, we see that it's a small stamped Eichhorn trademark, and they used this mark only in 1940. And it always seems odd to me why they etched them all those years, and then in 1940 went back to stamping them. So there you go. But what a great piece. Well, Joe, we wish you well with that one.
Well, thank you very much.
I hope that's a keeper. No, he's going to sell it. I can see.
I've never seen a U-Haul behind a hearse.
Okay.
I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, I hear you.
But thanks for showing and
wonderful.
sharing it with everybody.
Well, thanks for bringing it. I mean, it's just you can't even engineer this stuff. It just walks in, and there you go.
Tom,
You know,
I
you get lucky.
literally walked in, And there it was. I just had to ask.
Just tremendous. Well, I was outside a minute ago smoking a cigar as usual, and look what I found out there. Sometimes you make more money outside than you do inside. Collectors, this is a set of Forestry Generals shoulder boards, probably Imperial, not Third Reich, but they're just absolutely stunning, beautiful with the green velvet bottoms, and just, boy, just as a decorative thing to put with a hunting or forestry collection, it just can't beat it. So you get lucky sometimes. All right, collectors, we got my good buddy here, Jeffrey Richards.
Hello, collectors.
And what have you been specializing in, Jeff?
Well, as I got into the hobby, you know, I kind of liked everything, but you can't do that. So I'm focusing my attention.
That's what you do. You start out with a bunch of stuff, and then you figure out what you like the most.
Right, because you never really, you just like everything so much, right? But then as I got into it a little bit more, I really came to really enjoy these tag daggers.
Look at this display here.
Yeah. So
all tag daggers. Unbelievable.
So collectors, the fact that something is paper and on the grip after 70 years is amazing to me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, then it's still there.
It's still there. So
well, it's a good idea to protect it the way you do there.
Well, I did the bag as you did, but what I did is I put this little bit of backing to keep it from sliding around.
Good idea.
Because I have one in here, the wrap is being held on by 3 paper molecules, so I have to try to keep it from moving around, you know.
You don't want to be the one that breaks it.
Exactly. So this last one right here is an interesting variation. For some reason, they put the tag on the rivet on the scabbard ring.
Oh yeah, look at there, yeah.
And I got this from the Weingan.
Wittmann. Ron Wittmann.
Ron, get the money Wittmann. Yeah. I got that from him.
Yeah, Ron's a good guy.
He's a good. I like him. I like him.
He's a good guy.
And if you'll notice, what was happening was the crossguard was digging a hole.
Yeah.
So I put that behind it and then stapled it so it wouldn't move. Yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really enjoy the tag daggers.
Really beautiful.
Yeah. So
what else you got here?
As we go down,
got a really big display here.
My Ju-87 Stuka.
Got to have a Stuka. And what's this airplane here, Jeff?
That's the Messerschmitt ME-262, and it's got someone's name on the side of it there.
Let me just see here. General T. Wittmann and Lieutenant Colonel T. Johnson. I thought he outranked me. Boy, I'm going to be in trouble now. And let's see who's on the other side.
Joe Polsinelli.
Captain Polsinelli. Oh, man, I'll tell you. Jeff, you are really something. You really know how to get to people, don't you? Boy, that's neat. Thank you.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Pretty cool. Of course, I really enjoy my mini collection.
Oh, look at here, yeah.
So now I'm pretty well complete. I've got my SS.
Yeah.
My Luft Model 1, right?
Right.
Luft Model 2.
Yeah.
Navy. No, excuse me, Army, Navy, and the Rad.
The Rad. You know what I like, Jeff? Everything's real.
Yes, that's what I've been told.
It's real.
That's what I've been told.
You got to be careful with miniatures, you know, because they do reproduce those. But Jeff's doing a good job here, and he's learning as he goes. You've only been at this how long?
About 2 years now.
Imagine all this in 2 years.
But for any collectors just starting, I would suggest contacting the people that know, so you get the correct and the real items.
That is a good suggestion.
Yeah. So
now we got some more. Look at these chained NSKKs, boy.
Yep. Really like those.
How many of them do you have?
I've got 8 total.
8.
And I'm going to let some of these go because I'm interested in one of your Marines, you know.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's the plan.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people like this, that Kepi storefront display.
Oh, is that what that is?
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It's not a flattened Kepi.
It looks like it's a squash.
No, it's not a squashed. It looks
just
like
made that way.
Made exactly that way. I got in a bidding war with this with another collector.
I never saw that before. That is really cool.
And on the back, it's the large RZM.
Isn't that great?
Especially, you know, so you'd see this in the store and go, oh, that's where I get my Kepi.
That's wonderful.
That's something.
Wow, I've never seen that before. That is really great, Jeff.
Yeah.
Where'd you find that?
That was at the SOS.
Oh, yeah, the SOS.
He was pulling it out from underneath the table. I looked at that, and my friend looked at that, and I was like, hey.
Get out of the way. What'd you have to pay for it? I'm just curious what something like this would even be worth.
$450 is what I got for it.
I think that's very reasonable.
And it even has the leather strap.
See that?
The large RZM. I don't see anymore. See too many of those.
No.
Very rare.
Man, that is terrific.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
It's not for sale, collectors. It's my collection.
Well, you really have done a great job, Jay. Can you imagine only 2 years putting all this together, and then he's got more stuff that you're not seeing too. So
Yes, I'm
you've done
sorry.
an outstanding job.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay.
Thanks for sharing it with us all.
Absolutely. Thank you, collectors.
Yeah, if you want to get a hold of Jeff, you can get a hold of me, and I'll put you to him. He's a
There you
good
go.
guy.
right,
Good
thank
guy
you.
to know. Well, we're wrapping up the OVMS show here, and we just thought we would show you another thing that Walter has that's extremely interesting.
Complete
You can-
too. The straps
Complete
and
and everything. What we have here, this is a fire helmet, and it's apparently an early helmet because it has the comb on it, but it was used by factory workers in the BMW factory. See, it's
the
got the-
Luftschutz and fire department
Right.
on the big factories.
Right. Does it have it on the other side? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a double decal, and then it also has the fire shield that's attached to the leather. You know, they have these V type pieces of leather that you could put the shield on or take it off just by
the
connecting,
straps.
and then the chin strap too, and somebody's initials in there.
And you could use it to drive your BMW fire truck.
Hey, there you go. That's a neat helmet.
Yes,
What's
it
that
is.
worth, Walter?
Probably about $650.
650, yeah. It should be very desirable with the BMW. Everybody likes BMWs. And that proves they did exist on the road.
Absolutely.
There you go.